So my name is Julia, Customer Success Agent, and today I would like to talk about our new functionality, the feature that helps you to improve the way you manage CX data and the way you work with your maps and personas, CX chunks. So let's actually start. When you manage your CX data, you might come across a range of challenges, let's say. And that may be, for example, managing repetitive data across journeys. For example, you have your customers that pointed out the same problem across different journeys or different stages of one journey, and you'll need to update this same problem everywhere it appears. That might be quite inconvenient. Also, the challenge might be tracing back research data. For example, you have an insight and you added this insight to your journey map, but then your manager comes to you and asks, well, that's great, but where you got it from? So you need to go and to look through these dozens of links and survey research entries or whatever. Or another challenge might be keeping observations within your reach or monitoring progress of the improvements that improvement tasks that you came up with while analyzing your journey. So today we are going to address these and some other challenges. Let's see our plan. So first of all, as Veronica mentioned, I'm going to briefly introduce platform for those who are new here today. And then we'll get to our topic, CX chunks. We will talk about what is it all about, the types of chunks you can create. And later we'll cover use cases and examples when you can use the chunks and you can so that you benefit from it. So at the end of the session, traditionally, we'll dedicate some time to your questions. So stay till the very end. And let's start. So first of all, I'd like to introduce our platform to those who never heard about UXPressia before. UXPressia is an online platform for collaborating on customer experience. We have three tools inside. Persona Editor that allows you to create visual and insightful customer and user profiles. Here is an example of the persona built in UXPressia. Also, we have a journey mapping tool that allows you to visualize the journey your customers are going through step by step in time. And here is the example of a customer journey for coffee shop. Quite long, but very visual and nice looking. And we also have impact mapping editor that allows you to plan and prioritize your projects based on the impact they have for your business. It looks like this. Well, besides all that, you can find more than 100 of different templates at UXPressia for different industries and different use cases. This is a great way to start your journey. So feel free to explore those as well. And of course, if you have any kind of questions regarding the functionality, or if you would like to learn how UXPressia can help with your specific challenges, feel free to reach out to us via this chat or request a demo. We'll be happy to assist you. Now let's get back to our today's topic, and that is CX chunks. So what are chunks? Chunks are reusable pieces of data that you can use inside your maps, personas, or independently. That might sound a little bit complex, but in reality, it's not complex at all. Let's consider an example of the research stage of a journey mapping project. And let's assume that you are running interviews to learn users' experience with your with the mobile app, for example, or with a new version of your mobile app. And you, during these interviews, you end up having a lot of data, like interviews, recordings, transcripts, maybe some handwritten notes that you took during your interview. So a lot of them. And all this data is scattered across different locations. Some of the data you might need right now at the moment. Some well, are relevant for now, but you might benefit from quickly accessing this data someday in the future. So this is exactly where CX chunks step in. Chunks allow you to store all the data in one place and quickly access this data when you actually need it, and actually use this data in the place where you'll use it later, like in your maps and personas. Let's take a look at the types of chunks that you can create at UXPressia. Well, there are 5 default types of chunks that you can create at the moment: problems, ideas, tasks, observations, and hypotheses. Depending on the type of the chunk, they have different sets of properties. For example, tasks have such properties as due date to set up deadline for the task, and progress bar to track the performance of certain tasks, while other chunk types do not have such properties. Well, before we dive deeper into the chunks and what they look like, I'd like to switch to the platform and show you how you can access chunks and where you can access chunks at the platform. So let's do that. Let me switch to the needed folder. So first of all, you can access chunks right on the dashboard. So you will see consolidated list of chunks right here. And basically, you can manage your chunks the same way you do with documents. So you can filter, sort them, group by different criteria. For example, if you'd like to have a picture of all of the most critical problems, pain points that your customers are going through, they're experiencing, you can actually have this picture simply by filtering your dashboard this way. So I will I already grouped my document, my chunks by tag, and will filter them by the highest priority, just like that. And voila, I have a list of most crucial pain points customers are going through right now in front of me. So this is one place where you can access it. Another place is directly from the tag page. Right here, you will see full overview of all the chunks related to this specific tag. As you can see, all the problems, ideas, tasks are stored here. Of course, you can access chunks directly from your maps and personas. Here is the example of persona profile built in UXPressia and a few chunks added to it in the frustrations section and in the behavior section as well. And of course, you can see chunks from the design view. For those who don't know, design view is the view that allows you to show the hierarchy of documents you have in your workspace. Starting from the high-level overviews, diving deeper and deeper to more detailed insights. So this is also the place where you can see which chunks are related to the specific documents, which tasks, for example, or observations and so on, right here. So yeah, these are the places where you can find chunks. Now let's go and create a chunk from scratch. I will create a task and assign it to my team members right here. Well, I actually have all the information prepared in advance just to save our time. So I will paste it right here that way. So this is the task is to publish a Boost Tool landing page. I also have a description for this task to provide more details for my team members so they have proper understanding of this task. And a few links that also might be helpful to provide some context. I'll add them here as well. Oops, great. And another one for task in Jira. Let me quickly add this. Okay, so we have a few links here we've added, and now I will assign owners who will be responsible for this task. And that is going to be Nina and Teresa. Okay, also I would like to set up the status as open so that my team members know that they need to start this task as soon as possible, and also due date to set up the deadline for them. And that's it. Now, once I save the chunk, my team members will get a notification asking them to go and check it out. Here, there are a few things that I'd like to talk about in more details. First is this score field. So certain types of chunks, tasks and ideas, to be specific, have this score property inside. It allows you to compare different chunks based on the effort and value implementation of this chunk will bring to you, to the business. So the score counts automatically. All you need to do is to set up these values. Estimate stays for the effort from your side as a business to implement this task, for example. I will put M, medium. Business value obviously is the value for the business, let it be large, and customer value, the value of a customer, also large. So based on these three values, system will automatically count the score. The principle is quite straightforward. So the higher the value is, the higher the overall score will be. And the higher the estimate, means effort, will be, the lower the overall score will be. And this scoring might help you to prioritize certain tasks or implementing certain ideas. For example, when you plan the next sprint, or when you would like to make some roadmap decisions. So this might be helpful. Another thing that I want to talk about in relation to chunks is related chunks. A feature, option, let's say, well, field, I don't know. Here, you can connect and link different chunks logically. For example, you have this problem that your customers pointed out several times in several journeys, or again, within the same journey, and you decided to come up with a task, to create a task to solve this problem. So you will end up having two chunks, problem and task. You can connect them in order to see that there is certain relations between these two chunks. For example, here we have a task, so I can add a problem that this task will solve. Well, as easy as that. Another option to use this field, related chunks field, is to connect to show dependencies between different chunks. For example, we have this task here, publish boost to landing page. Okay, but I have another task in my mind, and that would be launch Google ad for this landing page. So as you understand, these two tasks, they depend on each other. I cannot launch an ad for the page that does not exist. So first, I need to complete this task and then start the second. So I can add this task here. Let me quickly find that, and I think I can find it that way. Or no, Google ad. Yeah, it's here. So I will connect this task here. And I can also specify the type of connection. So the type here, whether it's a blocker or it's a waiting on. So obviously this task with launching a Google ad for this landing page is in the waiting on status, because we cannot start working on it until we complete this task, and vice versa. So if we, so this task will be a blocker for completing this task. So you can specify these dependencies that way. Yes, so when to actually use chunks? Let's discuss that. Well, you can actually use chunks at any stage of your journey mapping project, whether it's a research stage when you're collecting data, or if you're already mapping your project, or even after you completed mapping and are ready to move to implementing changes. So let's dive deeper into each case. First, using chunks during research. So of course, when you do research, you end up having a lot of data, like really a lot. And chunks can help you to organize these data into a repository and having all the insights centralized, accessible to all team members, and you'll be able to use them later on when you move from research stage to the next stages, like persona definition or journey mapping, for example. And just having all these data in one place and format will drastically help you first to break the silos between departments and also to align your team. Of course, having observations, hypotheses, and problems all in one place and in the place where you're actually going to use them in your maps later on is much more convenient rather than having them scattered across different places, like on Miro boards or something in the Google Drive, or like you wrote in Salesforce and in multiple databases, let's say Notion, something like that. So we advise, when you have all this data collected, to create some kind of system of chunks. Because the chunk have this overview or summary, comprehensive summary of your finding. You can add links, as I showed you earlier, that also will give some context or will provide evidence to certain conclusions that you came up with. So that's quite handy. Here are a few examples of chunks based on customer survey responses or on customer interview. Here we also advise to assign owners to your chunks, because that will be helpful in case you have some questions. You'll know whom to contact in that case. And also keeping status of your chunks up to date will also save your time and your team members' time. So don't omit this step as well. Another handy thing that you can use is to organize your chunks properly. You can create a tag, dedicated tag for the specific chunks. For example, specific group of chunks. If we are talking about research, it might be tag named research, and all the chunks related to this part of your mapping project will have this tag so that you can quickly find needed chunk later on. Next use case here is using chunks during mapping. So if you already have your repository organized, you can use it instead of starting from a blank page. You can use these chunks to your add them to your new maps, to the new maps that you create. Let me show you how to do that. So I'll switch to UXPressia. Where is it? To our map for today. Here it is. We already have few chunks added here, but I'll show you how to add few more. So all you need to do is simply add them from here. Oh God. Yes, also few pain points, just like that. Do we have any other pain points to be added? Yep. So yeah, as easy as that. And then, depending on your case, you can either add some details and add some storytelling to your journey map, or leave it as it is, built solely on those chunks. And it will be short and concise. Here, in any case, those who read the map later on will be able to open up the chunk and read more details about this chunk. Let me find a chunk that is filled in. Just a sec, just to show you the example, like that, for example. And everyone will be able to open this up and get acquainted with all the details. Okay, so now let's get back to our use case. And next use case here is using chunks during action planning. Here, when the mapping is done, you can start thinking about the next steps and define what problems your team is going to focus on right now, and which, for example, which solutions, recommendations you plan to give to others, and so on. And having it all in the simple, like text, plain text format, in the list format, is not so convenient. So this is, again, where a chunk can help. Let me show you how you can do that. For example, here in the same map, we do have some lists with ideas and opportunities. So instead of having them like that in the form of checklist, we can simply highlight the text just like that and convert this plain text into chunks. Here you need to check how the text was parsed correctly or not, and then simply specify the type of the chunk you want to create. I'd like this to be ideas, for example. And that's it. So I simply create these chunks. And now I'll be able to assign owners to these chunks, to also prioritize them, set up deadline, and so on and so forth. So depending on the type of the chunk I'd like to create, I'll be able to add more details that might help me to track the progress of the implementation and use that for action planning. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I really hope that today's session was useful. And well, we definitely know that managing CX data will be different and is different. And we hope that chunks functionality will help you with that and make it easier and more transparent. So now I'd like to go through the key points that we talked about today quickly. So first of all, yes, we discussed that. It's a good idea to have these pieces of data that you can reuse and have them stored all in one place. Now you can do that with CX chunks. You can create different types of such data, like problems, observations, tasks, ideas, and hypotheses. We also discussed that you can use chunks at any stage of your journey mapping project, and you can either create chunks from scratch in your maps and personas or reuse them and take advantage of this built-in chunks functionality. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we are ready to move to Q&A part for today's session. So Veronica, how do you think? Are we ready to do that?
We actually are. Julia, thank you so much for presenting and demonstrating chunks functionality to all of us. And we actually do have some questions in the chat. Some we covered ourselves while you were presenting and demonstrating. And we have some more questions as well. So if you have more questions, make sure to type them in the chat. Those of you who want to learn more about UXPressia and its other features and how they can help you reach your journey mapping goals, make sure to book a free 15-minute call with our team via the link in the chat. And if you already build maps in some other tools, well, don't worry, you can still try UXPressia. And if you like it, we will help you to transfer your maps quickly and smoothly to UXPressia. So let me take a look what questions we have in the chat. I mentioned that we have one left for the Q&A session, sorry, once again. And the question is from Alex. Can you add files to chunks, example videos or thread scripts? And Julia, if yes, can you show where to find them?
Absolutely, you can add files, upload files to chunks. Let me show it to you real quick. Okay, so let's go to chunks we have created. Where is it? Right here. For example, here. We have this attachment field where you can upload different type of content. For example, PDF files or recordings and so on and so forth. So definitely feel free to use this field for that purpose.
Okay, that was quick, much quicker than I expected. We have another question here from Sherry. Okay, here comes the question with an example. So I may be an unusual case. I want to add references, think academic references. Is there a place I can add that? I could add it to the links section if the reference is available online. And if you take a look at the chat, you might see actually the example that Sherry is giving.
Yep. Well, in this case, you can, let me think. Well, you can add this into description section, or if that's like too much of the text, you can maybe create a separate like doc, for example, I don't know, Google Doc, and add all this information there, and then simply add a link right here. With the text and like the description and the link itself.
Okay, we have another question from Dewey, just appeared here. Will you demonstrate the ideas, opportunities conversion into chunks again? What other existing map objects can be converted into chunks?
Ideas, opportunities, yes, definitely. Let's go back to our map. And basically, you can convert any text to map, whether it's in the ideas and opportunities section or everywhere else. You can just simply highlight this text, click on this plus button, and convert it into chunks. So you'll see this create chunks window. And here you can select what type of chunks you want to create. Again, as I said earlier, different chunk types have different sets of properties. For example, if you'd like to convert it into chunks, you'll be able to add some extra details like due date, and you'll be able to track progress of this task and so on. So you can apply this section to any text in your map. Everything that you'd like to, every piece of like information in text format, you can convert it into chunk. Hope
okay.
that's helpful.
Okay, thank you, Dewey. Let us know if you need, I don't know, more demonstrating or if that was clear. We have another question. Thank you, perfect. Thank you, Dewey, for asking. We have another question from Alex. Alex is super curious today. I love it. Is there a way to see how one chunk, let's say a task, may have an impact across a portfolio of journeys? And if this is the case, would it be by manually linking them to various journeys, or is there AI functionality that may be helpful for this purpose?
Well, I can definitely say for now we do not have AI functionality to do that, but way to see how one chunk, a task, may have an impact across a portfolio or journeys. Actually, I completely forgot to show you one important field, and that is occurrence field. In every single chunk, you can track where this or that chunk was used, in which maps and personas. So in this case, with this problem, we see that at the moment, it's used just in one customer journey map. But if you see that there are, for example, problem and it appears in several journeys, this also might be handy for prioritizing this problem as like of highest priority and address it as soon as possible. So this is also something that you can take advantage of. And speaking of, and actually I think that might be handy for you, Alex, because you will see, for example, if this problem appears in several journeys, definitely this is of a high impact for your business. And speaking of linking different chunks to different, well, I'm not sure that I correctly understood the question.
If I understand it correctly, let's wait for Alex to specify here in the chat. But if I understand correctly, Alex means that can you like add chunks to different journeys?
You definitely can add chunks to different journeys. You can add the same chunk to different journeys again, because you create chunk and this chunk is saved in your repository, and then you'll be able to select from the existing chunks. You will be able to track this occurrence. And as I showed you at the very beginning on the dashboard later on, you'll be able to filter your chunks by different criteria. For example, by the priority that you assign. You can assign a priority to the chunk and then simply filter them by these criteria right here, like that. For example, highest priority, and we see all chunks with this highest priority value. So I think that also might help in that case.
Alex, please let us know if Julia and I got you correctly. Thanks. And another question, is there an option to add a dollar value to chunks and change it per journey?
A dollar value, I'm not change it per journey. Wait a second, I'm not sure that we can add a dollar value to chunks for now. Maybe you can use some kind of emojis or symbols for that and state it in the description. What do you mean by adding a dollar value? What would you like to visualize with that? Maybe there's like certain custom fields that you'd like to have in chunks, and in which type of chunk would you like to have it? If you could elaborate on that a little bit, that would be helpful. But for now, well, we do not have this specific like option to add a dollar
value.
Dollar value, yeah.
It's like that was the questions that you didn't expect, and probably the thing that you didn't get to try actually yourself.
Well, yes, that's true.
Yeah, and here comes the elaboration from Alex. So if I assign a dollar value to an opportunity or fix, it would be helpful.
Got it. Well, we'll definitely pass this to our product team to consider adding such option as well.
So how do you share attachments?
What do you mean by that? What exactly do you mean by that? I'm not sure. How do you share attachments? Well, everybody who is going to open, well, who will see your chunk, who will open up your chunk, who has access to your workspace, will be able to open up these attachments and download them, so that they can get more context. But what do you mean by sharing attachments specifically? Maybe you'd like to know how you can share document with chunks, or if you could specify a little bit your question, that would be helpful.
There actually is some more info from sharing, like PDFs, videos, etc. I'm not sure if that's helpful for you, Julia.
Yes, well, everybody who opens up a chunk, they will see the links that this chunk includes and the attachments, so they will be able to access them directly from the chunk.
Okay, thank you, Julia. And another question from Sophia. Could you demonstrate again how we can use chunks during the research period?
Yes. Well, speaking of research period, you can create a repository. So basically, the repository of chunks, where is it, this map? As I showed you, so instead of starting from scratch later on the mapping stage, you will be able to add those chunks that you've created from scratch and add all the details. So basically, as I showed you, chunks allow you to store like plenty of different information about certain finding. So creating such kind of repository of chunks, you can do that, for example, from the tag page right here, and start simply creating chunks like that, and later on reuse them in different journeys. Or you can create a new chunk from scratch right from the journey, just like that, for example. Let me show you. Like that, create chunk, and you can add a new chunk from here as well. So this is like this way you'll build a repository of these pieces of information that you can later on use and reuse in different journeys.
And Julia, can you show us how team library works? There was a question that we actually answered in the chat, and demonstrating actually the team library would be helpful.
Sure. Well, team library is a kind of repository of different assets. So besides chunks, you can also store touch points, images, documents related to your journey map, channels also, and our recent edition metrics. So you can create either manual metrics here or connect Qualtrics account if you are on the enterprise plan. So right here, you can access it from your workspace settings, team library, and you can store different assets that simple way, all in one place.
And you can actually store some documents in there, right?
Exactly, yes.
Like PDFs, and what Sherry mentioned here, videos, no?
Videos are not yet available, so coming soon, as you can see. But documents, yes, you can, if you work in, for example, you and your team members are in the same workspace, in that case, you can benefit from this option, because everybody who's in the workspace will be able to access the same documents and reuse them in different maps and personas. Same for images, the touch points and channels. So this is like a repository for your team for the workspace. So yeah, in that case, this would be handy.
Thank you, Julia. Another question is from Laura. Can we create custom chunk types or customize the names of the existing ones?
Speaking of creating custom chunk types, not yet, as far as I know. Speaking of the customize the name, if you mean like the type, the name of the type of the chunk, this is also not possible for now. So we have these 5 default types. But it would be handy to learn a little bit more about what types would you like to use, what types of pieces of information you'd like to reuse. Feel free to share with us in the chat.